Benefactors of that are these people.
Right, exactly.
They get to do things like this and get to rewrite history, and then when people like us come with the backlash, oh, now we're the crazy people.
Right,
So
right.
that's why I'm glad my friend offered to bring me out here from Allentown. Glad you guys are fighting a good fight. I'm fighting the fight with you. So you guys are gonna be doing this thing at 8 or 7, or are you just gonna be here just
I
locked
think the
out all
next
night?
show's at 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just staying out here till the night. I don't even know what time it is.
It's
So
like
have you guys interviewed like any of the show goers? Have you like asked them like how can we enjoy a show like, or is that or you guys
Oh,
get in
the
trouble for that?
audience?
Yes, ma'am.
We're handing them the flyers. Some people have they stopped? Actually, an older couple.
Some people have stopped and actually asked, like, and share the support and understanding of the history. So,
Right.
and that there were actually some local who actually live here, so they're going to be hopefully they will follow up and
Yes,
make
yes.
because this is also their community.
Yes.
So we're hoping that they will be able to.
Well said.
Yeah, they were.
Thank you,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a family early on when we were here.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
was a husband and wife and 2 daughters, and they live here. And
Yes.
apparently, she's got some kind of ties with the news people in this area. And so they stopped and they listened and they took our pamphlets, and they had already known some of the history.
Good.
And they were really shocked that the Playhouse was, promoting this production and showing this production. And so she actually said she was going to get in touch with some of the people that she knows that are in the news industry here.
So speaking of the news industry or so-called or whatever you want to call them, did they show up today?
No.
There was no, because I called personally at AP, the guy in Harrisburg, the guy in Philly, and I talked to them. I actually recorded the conversations. I maybe shouldn't be saying that, but yeah. So I have proof that I tried to do my due diligence. I called Allentown.
Yeah.
I called the Reading Eagle.
Wow.
And this deserves to be talked about, and they act.
Visibility. It's
They,
like
yeah.
people
Right.
are
We do
not
need-
taking it personally. They don't take it seriously because they don't think that this is important. But this is important for the Native community. This is important not only for the Native community, but it's actually for all of our communities. Because if we continue to perpetrate this lie, the myth of the Thanksgiving, and then you make a mockery of it, then you're making, pretending that this is everybody came together happily ever. And even now in 2017, to bring a cast, a POC cast, together to do something like this without the consultation of a Native American, it is divisive. It is not necessarily like, it's not thinking beyond what is they're being taught to think that what is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a happy thing for everybody to be together. When in fact most Native Americans don't celebrate Thanksgiving because it's a day of mourning. It's a time for remembering that a lot of people have been killed, a lot of people have been continuing to be displaced. It was genocide, and genocide continues. And so the invisibility is a perpetrated, it's a continuing assault. And we need to stand up for that, for all of us. I'm not native for this, but I'm native from South America. So as somebody who's a native for the continent, I understand that the invisibility in this country is extremely important to pay attention to and to fight for it. And for everybody, whether you're black, brown, or white, you need to stand up now because this is not acceptable. This is a kind of racism that I cannot continue to go on, because it divides us. And this is and what is it's sad to say, but because it's this kind of division is coming from a white-centric perspective. Because I'm pretty sure if there was other folks who have gone through the type of racism or the type of discrimination, they will probably do a little better job of doing this, So I think that this is another thing that is white privilege, it's white supremacy, and this is why it's happening. It's perpetrated, people perpetrate it, and unfortunately people of color are bought into that white supremacist system, and we need to break that down together because otherwise it's just we're going to continue to fight over, with each other, and we need to kind of overcome this. Yeah.
Well said. Well said, man. Well said. All right.
I think, part of the issue too is that we have people walking by and saying, well, that's in the past, just forget about it.
Yeah,
but the issue is my people live on a reservation. We're still poor. The government is still trying to take our land. The government is poisoning our land. They're dumping uranium on our lands. They're dumping chemicals into the water near our land. So this still continues today. The environmental racism is affecting our health and our communities. So this is something that continues.
Right.
And until we, people need to understand that.
Well,
this is
no,
not just something that's in the past. This
it's something
still
that makes
continues.
them. It makes them feel better to say that was in the
Right.
past, but
It's-
the past set up your today.
Exactly.
So you're only living the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
Right.
because of what you did to everyone that was here before
Right.
you got here.
Yes.
And who you decided should be ruling and who shouldn't be ruling.
Right.
You now decided that this is Thanksgiving, and as you said, Thanksgiving for one person is a massacre to another.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It cannot be unifying. If we celebrate on one end, exactly like you just said, if one group of people are celebrating the birth of this nation, and another person are actually crying because they lost a family, that's just not unifying. That's like that's the core of the point. So for people to need to come to an understanding that we need to change that now. And places like this, the Bucks County Playhouse, they play a role in our society, especially in cultural production. Any kind of like places that are cultural, they're promoting arts, they need to stand up to racism. They
Right.
cannot continue to support that kinds of like productions that are harming. And also making people more ignorant, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're
it's
telling a
perpetuating.
false narrative.
It's telling us
Exactly.
a
False
and they're
narrative.
laughing at a false narrative
Yes.
that is so painful.
Yes. And we sat in there watching that, and the people behind us were laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Well, we were sitting there cringing. And just so upset about it. And they were sitting behind us just laughing. And how can you laugh at something? And they're laughing at it because what they've been taught is a lie.
Yeah.
And so if they never learn the truth, they can go on laughing. But now it's uncomfortable for them to learn the truth. We're going to stop them from laughing. They're not happy in there now because we are telling the truth.
Isn't it ironic that a story making fun of the story of Thanksgiving and the people involved, these guys are talking about how it's going to be going to Broadway?
Yeah.
Isn't it Manhattan where they got robbed?
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
Right.
really?
Right.
So, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Like, they're thinking about taking this thing to Broadway.
Well, I think that's what we're also out here to do, is to stop that.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the information out there. BroadwayWorld.com actually just posted our press release, so that's huge for us. And really, our next goal is to go after the funders of this play. It costs money to get to Broadway.
I'm glad you
And
said
so
that.
we're going after the funders. I mean, we're going to try to attack this from the foundation and just take it down. I'll tell you, I'm a New Yorker. I'm originally from Ganawage, which is a reservation outside Montreal, but I grew up in Brooklyn, and
Beautiful.
there's a huge Native community in New York. This isn't going to go over. This will last, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a week. There's a few of us out here tonight, but there's going to be a few thousand of
Well,
us
hopefully
out
this
there.
video, I'm gonna hopefully get this video and hope you guys can help to get that out there too, because there's a lot of great talking points and people need to, this is a jaw-dropping moment. I can't believe it's 2017 and we're actually seeing
having to
the new
deal
world
with-
and
I
we have
know.
to actually argue the fact of why it's here,
I did in Broadway World, so that was huge because it's a it's
So no media, no cameras, no nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, thank you.
Very amazing.